Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show.
What's up, everybody? Another week, another edition of the show. This week, I have the band Break to Broken. I have all three members here, Clint, Eli, and Justin. Clint is all the way across the world right now in Australia, so we really enjoy him being here and making the time for us over here in, the States that are all on the same time here. But so first and foremost, guys, everybody, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for creating the music that brought us together.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yeah.
So we're gonna just jump right in here, and I'm gonna direct this to Clint. What was it about how this whole project came to be? Like, how did Break to Broken become to what it is today, to doing some pretty crazy stuff with big name artists?
Yeah. Well, it was basically born out of COVID in a way, I suppose, but from before that as well. I was in a band with my brothers for some years over here, and we were doing okay, but it kind of, fizzled out just due to life getting in the way, I suppose. And yeah, I was doing a lot of demos and still buying a lot of recording equipment and kind of getting a bit frustrated that I wasn't actually seeing any releases or anything from that. So, eventually, with a bit of a push, I decided to try and find some other people to make music with. And I thought, what better place to start than a Fugazi fan group, and I thought that might be the only place for me to start because I was reluctant to, to make music with other people. Didn't think it would work, but I thought I'd just throw a post up on that group on Facebook and see if anyone was keen to try and make some songs online. And Justin and Eli, and I believe one other guy might have responded briefly, but that was about it. And we got chatting on Facebook Messenger, did the intro, sent a few, little rough demos or ideas back and forth, and then it all kicked off from there.
And when this started back out of, you say, boredom and during the COVID era, what did you think that 5 years later you'd be here recording songs still with Justin and Eli, and then, most recently have Mike Watt playing on one of your guys' songs?
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, the initial goal I think we chatted about was let's try and do an EP if we can. So, maybe a 3-song EP, 6 songs, something like that. And we didn't really plan anything beyond that, I suppose. And the EP quickly turned into an album because luckily we have 3 people writing songs, pretty equally. So it's much easier to get an album together with 3 writers. And yeah, it turned into an album pretty quick. And yeah, it's kind of the thing now. We will finish a song and think to ourselves, okay, well, what's the next one we've got to start on? We don't even leave gaps really, even a days or a week in between finishing one thing and starting the other. It's just, it's ongoing all the time. So yeah, I love it. It gives me something to do, and it's kind of making up for lost time for me, for all those years with no releases.
Now, Justin and Eli, you guys knew each other a little bit, and was there any hesitation with trying to get into someone from across the world and trying to put things together? Was there any expectation when you guys, after you created your first song, of what was next to come?
Not really. I think we just all went into it, or at least I did, with no expectations. And if you remember, just back when COVID happened and lockdown, it's just like, I feel like everybody's mindset was different. It was just the kind of thing where everyone's kind of like got this cabin fever, and it was the kind of thing where like, sure, like, why not? I might as well give it a go. I don't know if I would have responded to that post if it wasn't, that specific time period, because I might have been like, oh, like, why am I going to trade files with some dude from Australia, But because of the situation and the fact that, I've always been playing music, but because of all of the free time I had, I started getting way back into it. I think all of the stars just aligned. So no real expectations other than like, yeah, sounds cool. Why not give it a shot and see where it goes?
And Eli, how about for you? Was there, I mean, I know busy schedule and all the things everybody does in life. And was it kind of the same situation? There was nothing much going on, so why not give it a shot? Or what was it for you?
Yeah, pretty much for the most part identical to what Justin had said. And I also just want to clarify, Justin and I actually did not know each other prior to all this. I don't know if I'd ever shared that with you, Shane.
No, when I met you guys, it seemed like you'd known each other forever. So I mean, that's
yeah, it's funny because we discovered that we sort of lived parallel musical lives, living only maybe 30 minutes from one another all these years, and never met until all this. So pretty cool. But yes, going back to your question, yeah, same thing. Always had been making music, always had been working on stuff. Even had done some remote collaboration stuff over the years due to necessity. But yeah, this was really, for me, also born out of wanting to connect musically. I wasn't really very active on social media even. So for me to even jump on there and click around and see what I could find and come across a Fugazi themed Facebook group, yeah, that was even unexpected. And to see that post, yeah, just the timing was right. And it just felt like, yep, hey, I got nothing negative could come from this at this stage. And if so, I could, step away. But luckily it was fruitful right from the beginning.
Yeah. And I mean, the way we look at it and our lives, kind of get consumed, or I think we're blinded by social media, but to have some good positive things that can come out of it, such as a band forming from all different places, connecting two people that, you know, live 30 minutes away from each other, that never knew each other, to someone across the world. Like, looking at the positives are amazing. And then sometimes I think back to the days of me growing up, when if you wanted to get in the band, you went to your local, you know, music store and looked at a flyer that someone was looking for a drummer or a guitarist or something, and that's how you would meet people. And now it's easier, and you can be in bands with someone who, you know, is across the world. Do you feel any different? I would say, Eli, that at the same time that it's easier, some of that old fashioned way of being able to, when you create something special, be able to perform it with people that, you know, like the old days, you all lived next to each other and you found each other in a music store and answered a want ad and became a band. Is there any, I want to phrase it, I don't, you know, like dissatisfaction that like it can't always be like, oh my God, it's Saturday night, we got this gig out because, you know, Clint's all the way in Australia.
Yeah.
Does anything bother you about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've actually talked about this over the years. The only thing that I wish we could do would be to play live, or at least to give it a go. I'm still confident that it will happen someday. But yeah, aside from that, and yes, obviously that's a big part of being in a traditional band, or being in a band in the traditional sense. Yeah, the live piece of it, or even getting in a room and playing together at the same time. We have not had the luxury of being able to do that yet. Everything else that we've done, the way that we've done it all, and we can dig deeper into that if you'd like, but hopefully we will. But yeah, has been extremely satisfying. Nothing short of satisfying. It feels like a band. It is a band. That's how I view it, at least. We communicate frequently. We're all equally as driven to work on music, to write, to record, to talk about it. We're all, I'd like to say, reliable. Even if we're not talking for a few days, it doesn't mean that anyone has fallen off. It's just, like you said earlier, we lead busy lives and we've got things going on, and it's just understood that we'll come back around when we're able to. But the conversation is always flowing, and it really just, I'll stop there, but it feels very much like a band in the traditional sense, aside from the live piece.
Yeah. And now, Clint, for you, I do love the fact of how things in the world can change, and how we can have bands that, you know, are constantly putting out music. Like, if you look at your release schedules that you guys have done, like, there's constantly always something to find. There's always, you know, a couple songs here and there, and you're constantly creating. And the fact that everyone does lead busy lives, and one of you is across the world from another, that it gives you an outlet at a certain time. Like, you're not kind of beholden to band practice on Thursday nights at 9:00. Does that make like creation and creativity of whatever you're coming up with a little better, because you can do it on your own schedule instead of having like a scheduled band practice?
Yeah. For me, I much prefer it, honestly. And that's why I was reluctant to join a band with people other than my brothers, because I got along so well with them and wondered if I could ever do that again with other people. But yeah, having your own schedule, it's really good, because, you know, my time is pretty much the opposite of the time for you guys. And like Eli said, you know, no one may do anything for a few days or even a week at times. And then all of a sudden, you know, it'll be like, oh, Clint's done vocals for this. Eli's recorded his drums. You know, Justin's made up some guitar part that we weren't aware he was going to do. And, you know, I managed to find a few hours on the weekend to mix the song. And, you know, before we know it, the song will appear when, you know, in a finished state where we might not have thought that was going to happen for a month or something. So, yeah, it's like Eli said, we do it consistently. You know, it's not sporadic, but, you know, we just do it when we can. And that suits me, you know, half an hour here, a couple of hours there, some longer stints on the weekend as I get time. And yeah, it just works. So yeah, it's been good.
And Justin, when you guys are coming to that finished product of a song, like what is your guys' process to, since you're not in the same room and you can't easily just say, hey, yeah, like we all agree to this, like what is the process to being like figuring out when the song is completely done?
Yeah, I mean, I think it varies, but everything. So, like process wise, and being in a band remotely, everything you said was definitely, I think, going through all of our minds. It's like, how is this going to work? Is it going to work? But I think pretty quickly we all realized, like, oh, okay, it can work. Like, aside from the fact of the stuff you talked about, of like, yeah, you can't get in the room together, with whatever notice, and you don't necessarily have that spontaneity or stuff that would happen like live in the moment. But those things still do happen. When we do share files, sometimes it's like a rough skeleton of a song one of us will bring to the table, or sometimes it's just a riff or a piece or a part. And then, it's kind of like a collage or one of those, I don't want to say a game of telephone, but one of those things where, you write the first line of a story and then you pass it to somebody and they write the next line and the next line. And it just turns into this finished thing that you didn't, think was going to be that way from the outset. So I would say, like, between the three of us, we can all probably get a sense of when something feels finished. And typically that's when, like, whoever brings this song idea to the table essentially will end up writing the lyrics, like, even if they're not singing it. So me included, I don't do a lot of the vocals, but I'll write lyrics if it's one of the songs that I kind of brought to the table. So I think typically, like, if I bring something, for instance, and Clint and Eli will lay down some kind of scratch vocal tracks with just made up words, that's typically, I think, when we'll call it done. And then, the lyrics will get populated. And then typically there's a round of like just adding little details, and then that's when it'll get done. So not really a definitive answer, other than we kind of just all work through it organically, and it just happens.
Well, my follow-up to this, and I'll go Eli, when you're the satisfaction level of being able to do something like this, where you're not all in the same room and you have this finished product and you release this song and you made this work from worlds away, like when it's finally out and done and you guys are proud of what's out there, like, is there a different satisfaction level that you have because this is not the typical way of how a lot of bands create music? Like, is there a different level of, we're doing something probably a little harder than what other people are doing, and look at what we just did?
Yeah. It's so interesting because it's been quite some time since I've done it. Released music in I guess the other way, the traditional way, where you're working with people in the same space and you're looking each other in the eye and hanging out and doing the thing and playing gigs and everything and releasing music. It's been a little while, and I do miss that to a degree. But yeah, to your point, or to answer your question, there is an immense feeling of satisfaction and pride that we were able, each time we're able to complete something, and to the point where we're ready to release it to folks who might be into it. It always is extremely exciting and gratifying. And I guess I'll stop it there. That's the answer. Is it does feel extremely gratifying, and yes, that extra layer of, this wasn't the easiest thing to do. Definitely brings about a different level of satisfaction, yet it has become just a system. So we sort of, it, in some ways, yes, it's more challenging, but in other ways it really has become quite fluid. And I don't want to say easy, but it just works, as Clint and Justin had both alluded to.
You kind of figured out that working on a line together, right? And passing it down. And then all of a sudden, after as long as you've been doing it, now it's just like, well, this is the normal way to do it. And you become efficient and good at it. So now it's nothing different. It's just now this is the new traditional way for you. So
Exactly. You got it.
now I want to get a little personal with everyone. So everyone's going to have this same first question, and I'm going to start with Clint on this one. And there's a couple pivotal moments in everyone's life when it comes to music. And I always harken back to, I know the moment my life changed. I was 6 years old. I heard the Beach Boys, and here I am today, 50 years old, owning a record store and music venue and all this other stuff. So I had like that pivotal moment. So Clint, for you, was there a moment in your childhood where you first like have your first musical memory of hearing something that really made you like want to know more about music?
Yeah, I'd say there's actually two, if I can mention
Yeah, no,
two.
because there's usually two. Like I usually preface it like it's the first time you hear something that makes you want to find me, and then all of a sudden you find your own way through music and find your own thing. Yeah.
I mean, initially I can say I didn't really care about music at all, probably until I was close to 10 or so, I would say. I was more into sports and outdoor things, and lived in a small country town, and, just getting up to mischief and all that stuff. And then kind of started to like just the music. In Australia, pretty much the only time music was on TV back in those days was on Saturday mornings, and it was all commercial music. They'd play it for hours on end, film clips, and started to like some cheesy, commercial rock stuff like Bon Jovi, things like that. Just dorky rock, Poison, all that sort of stuff. And we'd actually set up like a mime version of those songs for our parents in our lounge room, and we'd use all sorts of things like golf sticks for microphone stands, and like kitchen items to make guitars out of, and we'd turn all the lights down and everything, and we'd play the song really loud through the speaker, and we'd do like a mime performance of those songs for mom and dad. And that went on for a few years. And then my brother kind of got into actual music, and he'd lock himself away in his bedroom listening to like Nirvana and Mudhoney and things like that. And I didn't pay a lot of attention because I never really got into grunge, honestly, like still to this day, like slap on the wrist for that probably. But the second turning point really was when I heard my brother play Bad Religion, Recipe for Hate, which would have been in 1993, I would guess late 93. And I heard the first song, like Recipe for Hate and Kerosene and American Jesus, and my mind was just blown, like just turned me into a complete other direction, made me want to get a guitar and start playing like he was. And then following on from that quickly, there was a guy in America a couple of years later. Somehow we got in touch with this guy from America. We sent a cassette tape of one of our early band demos over there, and he sent us back this cassette of a band, Fastbacks, and he said, "Oh, you guys remind me a little bit of this band. You might like it." And when I played that cassette, I just could not believe what I was hearing, and they're still my favorite band to this day. And that just set everything off for me.
Wow. Now, so I'll go into this because you mentioned it, but so what was the name of the very first band you formed?
I actually only ever had one band before Break the Broken. We were called Earth to Nigel, but our original name was I Wrote the Bible. So we thought that was pretty cool as 14 and 15 and 16-year-olds. So, but we released a cassette under that name before we changed our name. So
I love that. I actually love that name.
Me too.
Justin, for you, what was your, like, do you have a first musical memory, and then when you kind of found your own way in music?
Yeah, I'd say the earliest one I can remember is when we used to take road trips. So I grew up in New Jersey. We used to drive down to South Carolina to visit my grandparents. And we would listen to, like when we were getting close, we'd listen to this cassette tape of the Beatles. This is my mom's favorite band, still is. She's the one who really got me into music. But I remember hearing the song Eleanor Rigby, and just like, it's hard to explain, but like realizing that music could like make you feel a certain way. And that song was so like strikingly different than all of the other Beatles songs. And I just remember like feeling a certain vibe or a certain way when I heard it, and just being like a little like, oh, okay, like music can kind of make you feel differently. And it sounds like kind of simple, but I just remember that and the way that song made me feel. And then as far as like the moment it kind of clicked for me, as far as like this is something that is going to be a significant part of my life, I remember getting into punk rock through some of my friends and getting invited to a show where like one of my friends' bands was playing. So we went to must have been a VFW or a hall or something up in, I think it was like Newton, New Jersey. I think it was either like the band The Oi Scouts or Squiggy or one of those bands. And then my friend's band was one of the ones that was opening. But I just remember walking in and seeing kids my age all hanging out, and they were the ones playing, and it was just like so accessible, where like, up until then you see bands on MTV and they're, they might as well be on a different planet because it's like that's totally unobtainable. But a local, scene with kids your age who are playing music and playing music that you like, and I just remember thinking like, oh my god, I could do this. This is so cool. I want to be part of this. So that was a really big moment for me too.
Yeah. And to harken back to like what Clint said, that he never got into grunge, I always kind of throw it out there. Like you said the word accessible, right? And, watching what was happening on TV prior to the grunge era was, guitar licks, these solos, these guys with their long hair and beautiful faces and tight jeans, and like it was this built up product. But like where I give grunge all the flowers in the world was the day Nirvana came on MTV. It changed everything and made it accessible. It made it, for kids like us to be like, oh shit, anyone can do this.
Yep. Just
like
a
it's
dude
not
in ripped jeans.
yeah, just a dude in a shitty sweater and jeans and looks like the rest of us. Like, oh, and like that's where I always say, like, Nirvana to me was never the greatest band, but they should be in the top 3 most influential bands in the world, because I think so many people started creating music because they're like, oh, you don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the greatest guitar player. You don't have to look a certain way. You can just be you and create music. And that was happening in the underground punk scene, right, all along. But punk was never had an opportunity to be on TV or be on the radio. So it was, that underground stuff was harder to get by unless you were, watching skate videos and trading skate tapes with people or seeing stuff in Thrasher and bands like that. But that's why I always say, Clint, maybe you need to get into some grunge because you can learn a little bit. But
yeah.
But sorry about that rant. But Eli, so same question to you. First musical memory, and then to where you got to.
Yeah. For me, similarly to Justin, it's another Beatles reference. I was I don't even know how old I would have been, but as far back as I can remember, I've just known all of the well-known Beatles songs, just if they were playing on the radio or whatever, and my parents' records and all that stuff, and I still have those records. But maybe when I was, I don't know how old, I had a turntable, might have been 9 or 10 or something, and I grabbed one of those Beatles records. I think it was Magical Mystery Tour. Like, what is this? Threw it on, and once I got to I Am the Walrus, as a kid, I knew these guys, I knew their songs, I knew their ability, about their ability to write catchy tunes, and this one was quite a bit different. The melody still was very much there, and I loved it. But the lyrics, man, and all of the crazy things going on in the background, whatever, the strings and the loops of some kind, I didn't know what it was. And yeah, again, lyrically, it just sounded like he was singing about all kinds of nonsense. And I just thought it was just the coolest thing, and wanted to hear more. So I continued. Still love the Beatles to this day. And then, yeah, to your point, the whole Nirvana situation, I came of age, I guess, right smack in the middle of all that. I guess we can call it grunge craziness. And it was Nirvana at the time. I was a drummer already from 10 years old. So by the time Nirvana hit, I was about, I don't know, 12, 13. And yeah, that Smells Like Teen Spirit video. Same thing, to your point, Shane. And yeah, that's when I had already found a guitar in my house and I was tinkering around and figuring out how to play it. But learning how to, well, I taught myself how to play the guitar basically by teaching myself Nirvana songs because they were that accessible. They were that easy to play for me. Yeah, that made a difference for me. That was big.
Yeah, and I always, it's so funny. Like the Beatles are always like this common factor between people, right? Like the Beatles are who the Beatles are. And I always love having like certain conversations about the Beatles because I was never, and I've never really been like a Beatles guy. And for me, as I made the comment one time, like there's enough people that love them that I don't have to. But it's always like where my credit that I give the Beatles so much is like, there's no other band I don't think that really ever existed. I'd say the closest one might be Radiohead, but like the Beatles in a 9-year span. Okay. Like people don't understand that they were a band for 9 years. The difference in sound from the Ed Sullivan to where they ended up in that short span of time and the changing of the sounds and the creations of the songs is like absolutely mind boggling to me. That it's like in something so short lived, there was this huge drastic arc in such a short period of time. That's why like Radiohead for me, like from Pablo Honey to Kid A, I mean, that fucking arc and changing is like insanity.
Totally.
But like, I'm like, I don't think people really, when they say the Beatles ever, like I don't think they think of them like that. Like you're saying, you hear I Am the Walrus, but yeah, when you hear, Eleanor Rigby and then I Am the Walrus, like the fucking difference is absolutely crazy. And the fact that they were just like, yeah, no, look, this is what we're going to do.
Yep.
That's where I'm like, dude, that just, no one has the ability to do that. I don't think, and I think too many bands would ever be scared to do that, to just switch it up in a short period of time.
Absolutely. Yep.
Now I asked Clint because I followed up to his, but Justin, what was the name of the very first band you were ever part of?
I was in a, I guess, punk band, and our name was Kevin. So we kind of thought it was funny to like name a band like you'd name, a person. So that's what Kevin came from. But also, I think there was some like latent Home Alone reference in there for Kevin McAllister, I'm sure.
My friend named his dog Kevin once, and we thought it was hysterical. It's like, no, me and Kevin are hanging out tonight. And it's like,
yeah. It's like, this is our band, Kevin. Like,
yeah.
Eli,
how about you?
Yeah, it's I'm trying to decide which band I guess qualifies as first band, but I guess I'll go with very, very first, which would have been with my cousins. I was on drums and my cousins were on guitar and bass, and we didn't know what to call ourselves. And our initials, I guess, I was E, of course, and then they both of their names started with a J, so we just went, let's just call ourselves EJC, the C being cousins, and there you go. Terrible name. Yeah.
Wow. You know what? It might not be the worst one we ever had here, but it's up there. It's up
pretty bad. It is bad. Yeah. Yep.
I wrote the Bible. It's definitely the best one.
That's the best one.
I love that. I seriously, like, I was like, man, I love that. I don't, a lot of times when I hear that, I don't really ever say, wow.
I'm thinking of reviving it for a side project or something one day.
You should. Now, I'm going to touch base now, and I hope this doesn't cause a rift between the bandmates here, but it's one of my favorite questions I get to ask here, and I'm going to start with Clint. If there was a complete stranger, no one ever heard a song from Break to Broken, and you only had one song that you could play for them that you need to impress them with, what's the one song that you would play for them?
Oh, wow. Well, at the moment, you'd probably have to go with No Care because we can, attach the celebrity guest appearance to it and say, hey, that's more impressive than anything we could do ourselves. So I'll go with that one.
All right. Justin, how about you?
I got to go with the song on our first record called On the Beat. I just love how that song came together. I love that, you know, it features both Clint and Eli's vocals like working together. That kind of became like our sound. And it's a little on the slower side, and it's probably not typical of every song, you know, that we do, but it's just like one of the favorite things, one of my favorite things that we've done. So I would go with that one.
All right. Eli.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Clint with the No Care for the same reason. It even though it isn't the song that really, well, so maybe this isn't the right answer to your question, if that's what you're asking, but it doesn't really, it's slightly different than most of our other songs. It contains other ingredients and other feels to it. So it's not the most representative of what we sound like as a band, but perhaps how we've evolved. And the as Clint said, the celebrity legendary guest appearance on there. Yeah, hard to ignore.
Yeah. Now, I'll stay with you, Eli. Now that's a song you would play for someone. Is that your favorite song you think you guys have recorded to date?
No. I guess I'll say no. But maybe I'm biased. I was kind of the originator of that particular idea. So, and I tend to put my stuff lower on the list. I'm just self-deprecating that way. I don't know, but yeah. So I guess the answer would be no. Yeah.
What is your favorite song that you guys released to date?
Oof. Yeah, that's a really.
Yeah, I'm not
really
trying to cause problems between people from picking.
Really,
you know, I used to call this segment "Pick Your Favorite Child" on air. So.
Oh,
yeah, I'm sitting here listening, ready to kick him out of the band.
Yeah.
He says the wrong thing. So.
We're breaking up after this.
Yeah, you're really putting me in a difficult position here, man. I'm stumped. Because they all have different, even each release, each record, the full length, and then each EP contains songs that are extremely special for different reasons and illustrate what we sound like as a band, or best illustrate what we sound like as a band universally. I don't know. Are you keeping me to this question? Do I need to name a
hey,
song?
listen, you want to talk around it, so I'll see if Clint has a favorite song you've ever released. So
Ah, better that way.
I'll give you a bit of a curveball. Actually, my favorite song is one that we will release on the next album. So it's one that's not out yet.
yeah, we're still talking in circles. People have to be able to hear it and find it.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
the whole point of the question.
I'll give you a definitive of the song so far. I actually like Marching West, which is the second song on our newest EP, because I feel like that song sounds how I intended the band in my head to sound when we started. I'm happy with how it turned out. It's actually a revival of a demo that I recorded in 2004. And I fished it out some months back and sent it to the guys and said, I think this could work as a Break the Broken song if we kind of redid it. And in what seemed like a matter of 2 or 3 days, Justin sent back a fully reworked, fully properly recorded version with new parts. But it kept the flavor of the original song as well. And I changed a lot of the vocals, wrote new lyrics. And yeah, I think that's a good snapshot for our band, that one.
See
That
how
was
easy
honorable
see it?
mention for me. That was up there. Yeah.
Yeah, see how easy that was, Eli? I mean,
Yeah. I wish I could be like these guys. I'm just
yeah.
gotta get it
trying to play
together.
politics. Listen, I understand you don't want to upset somebody. I get
I
it.
always joke
Totally
that it's the therapist in the band that has the confidence issues.
That's
yeah,
right. That's right. That's correct.
because he takes everyone else's stuff on him, and all of a sudden he feels, he's an empath. So
Yeah, I love that this is becoming a therapy session for me. Yeah. So thank you. I needed this. Yeah.
now, Justin, earlier you had mentioned about going to it was probably the Newton Elks Lodge or whatever to see a show. So I'm gonna do you remember the first concert you ever went to? And then sometimes, like me, when I grew up, the first concert I ever went to, I did not get to choose. So the first concert you ever went to and the first one you ever got to choose to go to.
Yeah. The non-cool answer is New Kids on the Block.
Nice. That's fine.
Brendan Byrne Arena, which is now whatever it is, Meadowlands.
Well, yeah, it was, and then it was Continental, then Izod. I mean, it's been many different things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was more of my older sister was obsessed, and then I went because she went, and my mom took us both. The first real one, it was Roseland in 1996. Eli and I were both at this show that we realized well after the fact. Rage Against the Machine and Jesus Lizard. And just, my friend's brother drove us in. We piled in the back of a van with no, seat belts or no seats even. Just get dropped off in New York City. Just a different time, I guess. But just being so close, Jesus Lizard comes on, David Yao jumps on my head, everything you would want in a Jesus Lizard show. And then, Rage comes on and the place goes insane. And they played, I think, Know Your Enemy first. And that intro is just and when I hear it, my ears just go insane, perking up, because I just remember that moment. Maybe that should have been one of my formative moments, but I just remember him coming in with that intro part and the crowd going crazy, and just it was electric.
Yeah, I saw Rage at Roseland Ballroom, and I think it was 93 or 94 was when I saw them there. 96 when you guys were seeing that, I was in Kuwait, so I couldn't be there for that. But yeah, that place Roseland Ballroom's one of my I guess because I saw so many shows there growing up that it was dude, that was the best. Just everything that I saw there for fucking $12 still blows my mind.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. Now, Eli, for you, first concert you ever went to and the first one you ever got to pick to go to.
Yeah, I was a little late to the game, and so the first concert that I went to was by choice.
Nice.
So, yes, I was lucky that way. And yes, it was Jawbox, Meat Puppets, Stone Temple Pilots, and
wow,
yeah, 94, I believe, and yeah, full circle moment just a quick little aside. Of course, Shane, I know, and Justin, we were at the most recent Jay Robbins show, right in your town of Boonton, and but last year he also performed at another venue that our mutual friend Craig. Shout out to Craig. Get well soon. Got to talk to Jay and tell him that he was the very first live musician I had ever seen on a stage. That was pretty cool.
It's a pretty cool moment. Yeah, it was.
What did he say to you? Was he like, leave me alone?
I said, it was you guys, it was Meat Puppets, it was STP. Does that sound right to you? And he said, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
That's
what he said to me. Yeah.
When you said it, I had Jawbreaker in my head. I was like, what do you?
So
I always get the mix. Obviously,
yeah.
I mean, it's
obviously
easy to mix up.
It is hard. I understand. Yeah, I saw Jawbox, and definitely it was '93 at Roseland Ballroom. Yeah, I think they opened for Tool. I think it was Jawbox, Quicksand, Tool, maybe. I think that might have been the show. Yeah. But so Clint, for you, first concert you ever got to see, and I know growing up in Australia in a small little town is probably a lot different than us Jersey boys outside of New York City go. But
yeah, I live sort of at least sort of 4 hours away from anywhere that would have any type of bands. First gig, my cousin was in a band at the time who were pretty unknown at the time. Saw them in '93, and at the time they kind of sounded like a cross between a thrash punk band and Helmet, but probably heavier than either of those things. And they went on to become probably the most famous rock band in Australia to this day, I would say, or one of them. So yeah, I got to see them in their early configuration when they sounded a lot different. That was in '93, I think, but my first gig by real choice was when I got to travel to the city to see Bad Religion in '96, right after they bought the Grey Race album out. So not at their premium time, recording wise, but live, it was incredible. Though the thing that sticks out to me, however, is Greg Graffin at the time on the stage ranting that he was mortified that the tickets cost $20 to come and see them in Australia. I think it was $20 or $25, I think. And he claimed that he would never come back again to ticket prices so high, and what a disgrace it was. And I saw Bad Religion about a year ago, and the tickets cost about 6 or 7 times as much as they did in '96. So he didn't really stick to his word there.
Well, got to pay for everything now. I mean,
that's right.
He was, he had only been 96 of the 82. Yeah, so for 14 years at that point, it was 14 years of being real punk. So he was able to do that. I mean, same thing with Pearl Jam now. It's still $200 to go see them, and But now here's I'm going to start with Justin. There's I kind of call this it's a band that never lets you down. Like, it's a constant band that you always look to and listen to when you need something to listen to. I always say, like, Rolling Stone would ask the question, who's your favorite band? I ask a different version of it. It's like the band that never lets you down, that you constantly turn to listen to when you want to listen to music.
I'm glad you called on me first, because I don't know if it's the same for all of us, but it's definitely Fugazi for me. I mean, I can't think of another one where it's just like, I don't know what to listen to. I'll put them on, and like, just, I love the different flavors of all their albums, for lack of a better way of saying it. They've just always been my drop dead favorite band ever since I heard them. So I can't really think of another one it would be.
Eli, same answer? Or
same answer. Same answer. Yep. Similar reasons. Yep. Yeah. I can keep talking if you want, but I can stop right there.
All right. So are we going 3 for 3, Clint?
No, we're not. Mine is the fastbacks or fastbacks, if I want to do the American pronunciation. They're just, no matter how I feel in life, they always make me happy when I put them on. I can have the most horrible, distressing day, and I can dive back into an album of theirs from 30 years ago, and it just snaps me out of it every time. So yeah, they're still my favorite band. Kurt Bloch is my favorite guitarist. I always joke that he's, Seattle's real Kurt, if I could dare to say that. But no, he's just amazing. And they released an album just this year, I think 24 years after their previous last album, which was just mind boggling. And it was really good too. So yeah, it's the Fastbacks.
Nice. Now, considering the lane that we're in with talking about certain bands, Clint, what artist or band do you listen to and get tons of enjoyment out of that everybody'd be really surprised based on all the bands we've talked about currently? They'd be really surprised to find out you get tons of enjoyment out of listening to.
Ooh, I don't think people that, like Justin and Eli, for example, or people that know about music would be surprised, but people that know me personally that don't really know I'm a music guy and stuff, like they probably have assumptions about what I might or might not listen to, like softer stuff or melodic stuff or something, because I'm a pretty quiet, sort of guy, gentle sort of guy, people say. And I'm always blasting like Helmet and The Mark of Cain and, sort of noisy, like, as my wife calls them, angry man bands, stuff like Therapy, things like that. Yeah, like I think I listen to heavier music than I like to play because it gives me good ideas, for songwriting, good ideas for guitar parts. And I like the aggression in those bands. So, but it's controlled aggression, which is what I always like the most.
Eli, how about you? What do you listen to that we'd be really surprised to find out you really enjoy listening to?
Yeah, I was just getting stumped on that one, but I just came to one. Years and years ago, I was introduced to the music through a friend of a rap hip hop artist named Aesop Rock, who's still around doing his thing. And there it is. Yeah.
I'm really surprised. See, that's what it's exactly it. Yeah. You surprised me. I enjoy that.
Yeah, I did not pick that one.
Yeah. Justin, how about you?
I don't know if this is surprising, but there's I guess they're a jazz band called the Bad Plus, who I really love. I think I might have seen them live more than I've seen any band, and they're one of their most famous things. If you know of them, typically because they covered "Smells Like Teen Spirit," but like a jazz version. It started out, it was upright bassist, a pianist, and drummer Dave King, who's like one of my favorite drummers. And then now their newest version, actually, it's upright bass, drums, guitar, and a soprano sax, I believe. But they've been around for a long time. I've been seeing them for a long time, and definitely a different flavor. But I don't know if surprising maybe would be I hate Broadway musicals, but Hamilton, I love. I'll listen to that. Really enjoy it.
Don't be hating on Broadway musicals.
I've never been a big fan of it, but that one, love it.
There's been some. I recently went on a run of some. Hadestown was great. Saw the Louis Armstrong story. It's a Wonderful World. Was fucking unbelievable. It was. Okay. It was one of the greatest ones that I've seen. But yeah, don't be hating, man. Give it a try the shoe on. See if it fits.
I don't know. I went to a lot of plays, not on my own, volition, but because I, was taken to them, and I just was not a fan of most of them.
All right, understandable. You just went to the wrong ones, then I say.
I think so.
Yeah,
not a Phantom of the Opera fan.
Not the biggest fan of that one either. Les Mis is mine. Seen it 26 times, and I love the music. So.
Wow.
Yeah, people love that one. Yeah,
seen that a few times. Very good.
Yeah, so great. Hated the movie, but so great.
Never saw the movie.
All right, so we're gonna get to a little, I guess, it's definitely an end of the world question. So, end of the world question, Clint. World's gonna end in 5 minutes. Meteors hurling into the earth. You have 5 minutes, and you have to listen to one song and one song only. What song are you listening
to? Kerosene by Bad Religion.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah.
Justin.
Eli was going to take like 50 years to answer this. So that's why you went to me second.
Fact.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to No Surprise by Fugazi.
All right. Eli.
Things Behind the Sun by Nick Drake.
Wow. You didn't take wow. That was a perfect amount of time everybody had there. That was fantastic. I love it. All right, another morbid question. Well, not really morbid, but it has happened to people here, so getting the answers. Unfortunately, there's a huge fire in your home. All living things get out, all loved ones, animals, pets, all living things get out. You have a minute to run back in and grab one musically oriented thing in your life. What's that one thing you're running out with, Clint?
It's a big muff pedal that belonged to my brother who passed away a year or two back, and it's one of the '90s green Russian, big army tank ones that's covered in stickers and is noisy as all hell and doesn't work that well, but that'd definitely be the thing I grab.
Good answer, Justin.
This is a really good question because I changed my mind halfway through. The microphone I'm speaking into now, I would probably save. It's it is from Inner Ear Studios. When Don was closing up, he had kind of like a fire sale, where he was selling all of his equipment, and I drove there, and I bought this mic, and it's probably like the most irreplaceable thing I have, because I was first going to say my main guitar I use, which is a 73 Telecaster Deluxe, but like I could replace that. I can't replace this mic that literally recorded some of my favorite albums.
Yeah, I remember when I met you telling me the story about the mic. Yes. Yeah, like so I love how you went with that. Nice. Eli.
Yeah, it would be a lot of the drum equipment was originally my grandfather's, and so still use most of the cymbals that you hear on the Break to Broken stuff are those, and snare drum. So it would be a tough one. Whichever my hand hit first, either the cymbal bag or the snare drum.
All right. And the last sad question that I will ask here. Start with Clint. Is there a song in your life that is just a song that no matter when you hear it, just will pretty much always bring a tear to your eye?
Yeah. It's the only song ever that brings a tear to my eye, and it's I'll Never Find Another You by the Seekers. I'm not sure if you know that one. It's an old song by an old Aussie band. They're probably more popular for a couple of their other songs, but that song is just incredible. The performance, the lyrics, like the emotion that it captures, like it's the only song that does that to me.
Nice. I just wrote that down, so I'm going to hopefully maybe cry after this.
You will.
Justin.
Probably it's because my mom cries when it comes on, but the song by John Lennon called Beautiful Boy that she used to sing to me when I was young, and I think her 60th birthday, like I played a set of Beatles stuff because she loves the Beatles, and I played that song and she lost it. So yeah, that's probably the one.
Nice. Eli.
Yeah, I'm having one of my stumped moments, but it's between two. I'll go with the Broadway version, Shane, for you. My daughter is really into Mamma Mia, and when she's watching the movie, I always, if I walk into the room and there's this one particular song that comes on, I can't handle it, man. It's this, slipping through my fingers, something like that. Meryl Streep singing it. I can't handle it, dude. I can't handle it. Yeah. Because it's like anyway, I'll stop there. I've said too much.
I've already revoked my punk card.
Yeah, that wasn't going to be my first one, but I had to go with it.
Was Rain and Blood your second one?
No, but that's a close third.
Yeah. I love that. Well, we're coming in on our normal hour here. And before we get to our final segment, which our final segment here, guys, if you don't know, it's our weekly threes. It's the three things that we're listening to that we'd like people to check out. Since there's three of you, you each get one, and then I get to give my three because I'm one person, so I get all three. But before we get there, I go with Clint, give you this opportunity right now to tell everybody how it is that they can find everything that you guys are doing, how to support the band, how to purchase it. I mean, I will say Break the Broken record is for sale at Hidden Tracks Records at 520 Main Street in Boone, New Jersey. So if you'd like to pick up a copy, we do have it there. But other ways that people can keep up what it is that you guys are doing.
Yeah. Well, we have a Bandcamp, which also has, a couple of little extra songs that we don't put onto the streaming platforms, with little bonus things, a couple little covers. We covered one of my favorite Fastback songs, for example. And we did a cover of Man in Black by Johnny Cash as a tribute to my brother on there as well. So that's probably the best way if you want to, steer away from those big evil corporations that run a lot of the other services. But apart from that, it can be found on the usual streaming things. And I guess everyone in America should drive to your shop, Shane, to buy the album if they like it.
Okay. And a lot, I wouldn't say a lot, but many people already have, which makes me very happy when I have stuff like that. And
that's awesome.
Artists can see that, holy shit, my stuff's getting out there. So I love being able to do that. But and we are now in our final segment of our weekly three things that we're listening to that we'd like people to check out. I'm going to start with Justin on this one. Give me an artist that you've been listening to lately that you would like other people to check out.
I've been really digging into the band Dive recently. Like, I think that's how you say it, DIIV. It's not Div. Dive, like the shoegazy. I think they're from Brooklyn or New York. Their release from last year, Frog in Boiling Water, has kind of been what I've been listening to. Freaking great record. I'm watching some of their performances live, such a vibey band, to use a horrible term. But I just love how they play as a unit, and they're so delicate, but so can do some rock and hard stuff. So Dive would be my answer.
Awesome. Eli.
Yeah, I haven't really settled into anything new lately. And so I hope this doesn't come across as a shameless plug, but it's more of trying to bring about awareness for a friend's project that recently Justin and I were a part of. We had the pleasure of playing on a cover of Fleetwood Mac's Dreams with our friend Craig, mutual friend Craig Serenelli. Covert Stations is the I guess band name, and it's a revolving cast of different bands that he puts together. He assembles for each cover.
All right, nice shameless plug.
There you go.
Craig's gonna love that.
You could have said Hidden Cabins. I think he would have liked that.
Ah, man, I should. Can we?
Nope, we can't change it. We can't change
Come on.
I already wrote it down, so what has been written shall stay. Clint, how about you?
For me, it's the new Propaganda or Propaganda. I'm not sure how you guys say it. Their new album. It's great. And it actually made me go back through their back catalogue because I got a little disillusioned. There was one particular album they put out some years back that I didn't love, and it kind of just made me stop listening to them when I shouldn't have. And this new one's made me go back through their back catalogue, which is incredible. The new album's great too. And I just feel like Chris Hanna, whether you like that band or not, the arrangements that he's able to play and sing live is just jaw-dropping. You watch a live performance from him, I feel like there's so few people that could actually pull off what he does. So it's inspiring.
Yeah, a very underrated band. I was very happy with the new album. Same as you, there was a moment where I was just I was done with them. And I heard bits and pieces of the new album, and then I listened to it in full. I was like, all right, I'm back in. Here we go. Let's go. So before we say our goodbyes, I just want a huge thank you. First off, for being here, Clint, for making time out of your day, since you're in Australia right now and it's the middle of the day and it's nighttime here for us, but since we're all on different schedules. But huge thank you to all three of you for being here on the show today. Thank you for creating the music that really brought us together and Justin and Eli coming to the store, getting to meet you, knowing you on faces, being able to talk one-on-one. Eli, thank you for playing at the store. If you want to see Eli's performance, you can check it out on our YouTube channel, Hidden Tracks Records. It's absolutely masterful. And, you know, the drummer decided to pull out a 12-string guitar and fucking play. So, I mean, you can only imagine how great it sounds. But a huge, major thank you to all three of you again for creating the music that brought us together to be able to do something like this. It's very important what artists do. I don't think everybody truly understands how hard it is to create music, let alone the way you guys are creating right now, which is pretty spectacular, that the songs that are coming out of it are as good as they are. So just a huge, big thank you to all three of you for all of that.
Cool. Thanks for having us on. And yeah, thanks to you and anyone else that takes the time to listen to our songs.
Right back at you. Thanks for doing this podcast, your store, your show. Like, dude, like everything. That's important work, and we really appreciate it. So
well, thank you for that. But everybody out there in the world, you know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to Break to Broken, and have a great fucking time.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions to myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.